González, usted fue arrestado ante una acusación de agresión física por estrangulación.
Your bond is presently set at 0.
No se fijará fianza en este momento.
I'm going to set bond in your case in the amount of $1,500.
Fijaré fianza en $1,500 en este momento.
¿Cuánto?
That will be conditioned upon supervision by pretrial release if you do post bond.
De $1,500, y si deposita la fianza quedará bajo supervisión del Departamento de Libertad Provisional.
Okay.
Be further.
¿Y puedo depositar la fianza ya?
Could I pay the bond right now?
Well, we'll get to that in just a moment.
Llegaremos a eso en un momento.
It'll be a further condition that you not have any contact directly or indirectly with Nelly Aguilar.
Como condición de su libertad provisional, si deposita la fianza, se le prohíbe el contacto con Nelly Aguilar.
You will not possess or consume any alcoholic beverages or controlled substance without a valid prescription.
No puede consumir ni tener ningún tipo de bebida alcohólica ni de ningún tipo de droga a menos que sea recetada.
¿Puedo decir algo?
Can I say something?
The Office of the Public Defender is appointed to represent you.
Se le ha designado a la oficina de defensor público para que lo represente.
You don't have to say anything at all about the facts of your case.
No tiene que decir nada con respecto a los hechos del caso en este momento.
If you say anything about the facts of your
No.
case,
Lo que pasa es que yo no vivo con ella, yo vivo en otra casa.
No. The thing is, I don't live with her. I live at another place.
Y ella es la que me llega a buscar.
And she's the one that comes looking for me.
I understand you are not to have any contact with her. I don't care where she lives or you live.
Entiendo, pero usted no puede tener ningún tipo de contacto con ella, sin importar dónde viva ella ni dónde vive usted.
Entonces, por ejemplo, si llegara a mi casa, ¿qué hago con ella entonces?
So, a question then, if she comes to my house, then what do I do?
You cannot allow her to have contact with you.
Usted no puede permitir que ella tenga ningún tipo de contacto con usted.
Perfecto, eso es lo que quería.
Perfect.
Very well.
Thank you, that's what I wanted to know.
Thank you, sir.
¿Y en cuánto tiempo puede prestar la fianza?
1,500 plus PTR.
Your Honor, is there a case number for Mr. Gonzalez?
2020 CF 8640AO.
Thank you.
Okay. And sir, if you'll please tell us your name.
Su nombre es, dígame su nombre, señor.
José López.
José López.
Okay, Mr. Lopez and Ms. Figueroa, this is case 20MM5230. Mr. Lopez, you arrested on a charge of battery.
Señor López, usted fue arrestado ante una acusación de agresión física.
Your bond was set at 0.
No se fijó fianza.
I'm going to set bond in the amount of $500.
Fijaré la fianza en $500.
That will be conditioned upon supervision by pretrial release.
He does not qualify, Your Honor. He has an immigration hold.
Okay.
Él no reúne los requisitos para la libertad provisional. Su señoría tiene una orden de arresto de parte de inmigración.
If you do post bond and are released from jail, it will be a condition that you not have contact directly or indirectly with Dilma Cinto.
Si usted deposita la fianza y queda en libertad bajo fianza, se le prohíbe el contacto con Dilma Cinto.
Sí.
Yes.
All right. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you.
Se le ha designado a la oficina de defensor público para que lo represente.
¿Para
Thank you.
cuándo puedo pagar la fianza?
When could I pay the bond?
You pay the bond at any time. I'm told that there is an immigration hold, so that may not result in your release from custody.
La puede pagar en cualquier momento, pero me han indicado que hay una orden de retención de parte de inmigración, así que puede que aún así no lo dejen salir.
¿Para cuándo puedo pagar la fianza entonces?
So when would I be able to pay the bond then?
You can pay the bond right now.
La puede pagar ahora mismo.
Thank you.
Ok. Gracias.
All right. All right, state your name, please.
Su nombre, por favor.
Junior.
Junior.
And you have a last name?
Apellido.
Sarango.
Sarango.
Mr. Sarango, you arrested on a charge of battery.
Señor Sarango fue arrestado ante una acusación de agresión física.
Sí.
Yes.
Your bond is presently set at 0.
La fianza en este momento está en 0, sin derecho a fianza.
I'm going to be setting bond in your case in the amount of $500.
Se fijará la fianza en su caso en $500.
Your bond will be conditioned upon you not having contact directly or indirectly with Paula Hernandez.
Se le prohíbe el contacto, ya sea directa o indirectamente, con Paula Hernández.
Ok, está bien.
Ok.
And he does have an immigration hold, Your Honor.
Okay. I saw
Él tiene una orden de retención de parte de inmigración.
There will be a condition of your bond that you not return to any address where Ms. Hernandez may be living.
Como condición de su libertad o fianza, también se le prohíbe visitar ninguna dirección o lugar donde la señorita Hernández pueda estar viviendo.
The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you.
Se le ha designado a la oficina del defensor público para que lo represente.
Ok.
All right, thank you.
Gracias.
Your Honor, that's all we have for the interpreters today.
All right, thank you. I guess we'll go ahead and try to do Osceola while we have the interpreter on the line. Well, I'm gonna have to call you back. Mr.
All right.
Figueroa.
Not a problem, Your Honor.
Okay.
You need some wipes? Yeah, right there. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. So you can wipe it down over there and have a seat.
All right, state your name, please.
Antonio Miles. Antonio Miles.
Okay. Ms. Miles, before I get to you, what situation, do we know what the situation is on Brian George?
Your Honor, he is mental health.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Mental health, Your Honor.
Okay. As to Mr. George, I've read the arrest affidavit on the new charge. I find probable cause. I'll set the bond amount of $2,500 on that charge with the condition that he not have contact directly or indirectly with Donna Cook. I'll appoint the office of the public defender. He's also being held no bond on the violation of probation. It will remain at no bond. Public defender's office is appointed. Did you want to have him reset?
Yes, please, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll reset him for, I guess tomorrow.
Well, we can't hear.
No. What was the bond on the battery?
2,500,
4,500.
but we're gonna reset it still, then,
This
So we're
is
gonna
what
reset?
Black knows.
yeah, still gonna reset.
Okay.
But the public defender wanna reset.
Okay.
So, all right, can you hear me, Mr. Miles?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Miles, you arrested on a charge of aggravated battery on a pregnant person. Your bond was set at 0. Looks like there are no prior offenses. We don't have anyone here in Mr. Miles' case. So, Mr. Miles, I'm going to do this. I will set bond in your case in the amount of $2,500. At this time, until further order of the court, that bond will be conditioned upon you not having contact directly or indirectly with Jennifer Hunt. The public defender's office is appointed to represent you. Thank you. All right, tell us your name, please.
Jessica Gutierrez.
Okay, Ms. Gutierrez, you're arrested on charge of battery. Your bond was set at 0. We have a witness here, so I'm going to get some information before addressing the bond further. Sir, if you'll raise your right hand, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
I do. Yes, sir.
And what is your name, sir?
Jose Pineda.
Okay. Mr. Pineda, you are listed as a victim in this case,
That is correct.
and I just want some information. Do you wish to have contact with Ms. Gutierrez while this case is pending?
No contact, please.
No contact?
With myself or my daughter.
Okay. All right, thank you. And Ms. Gutierrez does not qualify for pretrial release supervision because of the ID or not?
Yeah, her prints haven't cleared. I mean, she just won't be released until her fingerprints have cleared.
Okay. All right, Ms. Gutierrez, I'm going to set bond in your case in the amount of $500. It will be conditioned upon supervision by pretrial release if you do qualify. It will be conditioned further upon you not having contact until further order of the court with Mr. Jose Pineda or with Alani Pineda. You will not return to the residence at 14228 Alafaya Oak Bend in Orlando. You may do so on one occasion accompanied by a law enforcement officer to retrieve clothing or personal possessions you may need from that residence.
I will be vacating the premises by the end of the week, so after that, she can go back.
Okay. Once Mr. Pineda has left the premises and is no longer residing there, then you would be allowed to return. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. All right? Thank you.
That was 500 or pretrial that you qualify, 500 or?
It's
No,
500
and pretrial.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't do a direct pretrial release on a domestic case, unfortunately.
And she may return if the victim is not.
Your name, please?
Michael Reyes.
Okay. All right, Mr. Reyes, you were arrested on a charge of battery.
Yes, sir.
Your bond was set at 0. We have no prior history. It's the same situation with the.
Yeah, he was interviewed, Your Honor. He does qualify for
Okay.
supervision through pretrial.
All right. Mr. Reyes, I'm going to set bond in your case the amount of $100. It will be conditioned upon you not having contact directly or indirectly with Jacqueline Kello or Dennis Kello. You will not return to the residence at 12 East Skylark Street in Apopka. You may do so one time accompanied by a law enforcement officer to retrieve clothing or personal possessions you have at that address. Those conditions are subject to change as the case progresses, but until the court modifies the conditions, even if the Kellos want to have contact with you, you cannot have that contact, you cannot return. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Thank you.
And did you want him bond and PTR, Your Honor?
That's bond and
Yeah.
PTR, yeah. All right, state your name, please.
Michael LaValle.
All right, Mr. LaValle, you were arrested on charges of resisting an officer without violence and aggravated assault. Bond is $500 on the resisting, $2,500 on the aggravated assault. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you, sir. Thank you. Your name, please?
Sean Stewart.
All right. Mr. Stewart, you arrested several matters. You arrested on charge of resisting an officer without violence. You have a bond of $500 on that charge. You were arrested on a capias for failure to appear in case 20 CF 1726. You have a bond on that charge, in the amount of $2,000. You are presently out on bond in case 20 CF 2697. Based on the new arrest, your bond in that case will be revoked. You'll be held without bond pending further order of the court. You are also out on bond in case 20 CF 1726.
Your Honor, that was
a
actually,
failure to appear.
yeah, that was entered in error.
So the bond will remain at $2,000 on that charge. The public defender's office is appointed to represent you, sir. Thank
Your
you.
Honor, would the court be inclined to set a new bond on 2697, given that the new law violation is misdemeanor?
No, I would not at this time. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Your name, please?
Your Honor, Mr. C. Paul is medical.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Willie Clark is mental health.
Okay, just one moment. As to C. Paul, is the defense wanting to waive his initial appearance, or do you want me to reset it? He's got a bond of $500 on a failure to appear on a Willis.
I'd be willing to waive on that one.
Okay. We'll appoint the office of the public defender and note that I was waived by counsel. As to Willie Clark, he's mental health. He's resisting without violence. Has a bond of $500. I don't know what your position is on that.
Quick question for Madam Clerk, Judge. On Sean Stewart, did we appoint the PD on the case where the bond was revoked? I just saw that there's,
I'll appoint the
Yeah, he previously had it appointed. It was previously appointed on that.
oh, okay, I'm sorry. What about 1726?
Well, that's the one, he's FTA, so yeah,
Okay.
he appointed the PD on that one.
Okay, cool.
So as to Willie Clark, though,
Oh, I'd
Willie
waive
Clark
that.
is mental health. He's got a bond of $500 on a resisting without. I'll appoint your office. I just wanted to know if you wanted to waive that or.
Oh, we can waive that, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. All right, state your name, please.
Arthur Green.
All right, good morning, Mr. Green.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Green, you were arrested on a charge of disorderly conduct. Your bond is set at $250. The public defender's office is appointed to represent you. All right, thank you, sir.
Your Honor, I believe the state extended an adjudication time served offer.
Okay. Mr. Green, you can, if you wish, enter a plea to this charge. The state is recommending that the court judge you guilty of this offense and sentence you to the 2 days in the county jail with credit for 2 days' time served. The court would impose court costs and reduce that to judgment. So how do you wish to proceed?
I take it.
I'm sorry?
I take it.
So you want to enter a plea of guilty to this charge?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Green, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
State your name again. State your name again, please.
Arthur Lee Green.
Ms. Green, you're charged in this case with disorderly conduct. That charge is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 60 days in the county jail, 6 months probation, and/or a fine of up to $500. Do you understand? Do you understand what the maximum possible penalties are?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry?
Yes, sir. You said
Can you hear me?
Say it again.
You are charged with disorderly conduct.
Yes, sir.
That charge is a misdemeanor, which is punishable by up to 60 days in the county jail, up to 6 months probation, and/or a fine of up to $500. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
You have the right to have a jury trial in this case. If you chose to go to trial, you would have the right to be represented throughout the trial by your lawyer. You would have the right to confront and cross-examine witnesses who testified against you. You would have the right to present witnesses and evidence in your defense. You would have the right to testify yourself at your trial, or you could choose not to testify. And you could not be found guilty unless a jury unanimously found the state had proven your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
By answering a plea of guilty, you'd be giving up those rights, and there won't be a trial in your case. Do you understand?
No contest.
I'm sorry?
You say plead no contest.
Fleeing no contest.
Okay, well, you understand the court will treat a plea of no contest exactly the same as a plea of guilty.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay? And if you enter a plea of no contest, you'd be giving up all the rights I just talked to you about. You understand?
Yes, sir.
All right? If you're not a United States citizen, entering this plea will subject you to deportation. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Are you thinking clearly today?
Yes, sir.
Are you under the influence of any medication, drugs, or alcohol?
No, sir.
Did anyone coerce or force you to enter the plea?
Yes, sir. Nobody forced me.
I'm sorry?
You said did anybody force me to make a plea?
Did anyone force you or in any way to enter this plea?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, well, I'll find that you are alert and intelligent, that you understand the nature of the charge against you, the penalties you're facing, the rights you're giving up by entering the plea, and find that your decision to enter the plea has been freely and voluntarily made, and that there's a factual basis upon which the plea can be accepted based on the affidavit of Officer Wilkins. So I'll accept the plea of no contest. Is there anything further to be said before sentence is imposed?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Green, you'll be adjudged guilty of disorderly conduct, sentenced to 2 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days' time served. You're ordered to pay court costs of $273. I will reduce that amount to judgment.
Yes, sir.
You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence was just entered.
Yes, sir.
If you do want to appeal and you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, I will appoint one to represent you. You understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Good luck to you. Stay away from traffic.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, tell us your name, please.
Alicia Shante Brand.
All right, Ms. Brand, you arrested on a charge of battery. Your bond on that charge was set at 0. I'm going to set bond on that charge, the amount of $500. It will be conditioned upon you not having contact with Edward Frazier. You're also arrested for violation of probation. Your bond on that is 0. You further are out on bond in case 19 CF 15904. And based on this arrest, I will revoke your bond in that case, or you be held without bond pending further order of the court. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you in each of your cases.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, your name, sir?
Brian Lewis.
All right, Mr. Lewis, you were arrested on a number of charges. You were charged with aggravated assault, carrying a concealed weapon, battery, and resisting an officer without violence. Your bond is presently set at 0. We have a witness here. Ma'am, if you'll raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Yep. I'm sorry, I'm talking to the witness here, Mr. Brand.
Oh, sorry.
Mr. Lewis. Ma'am, if you'll tell us your name, please.
Jacayla Scott.
Okay. Ms. Scott, you are listed as a victim in several counts in this case. And there are a couple things I wanted to ask. First of all, do you want to have contact with Mr. Lewis at this time?
Yes, sir.
Are you afraid of him at all?
No, I'm not afraid of him at all.
All right. Any questions from the state or defense?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Lewis.
You're welcome.
Here's Mr. Lewis has no prior history.
Just one prior arrest for an aggravated battery that was dropped.
Okay. All right. Mr. Lewis, I'm going to set bond and pretrial release conditions in your case. I will set bond on the charge of aggravated assault in the amount of $1,500. The carrying a concealed weapon at $100. Battery at $100, and resisting an officer at $100, all conditioned upon supervision by pretrial release. If you post bond, you are not to have any hostile contact with Jacayla Scott or with Ania Scott or with Akila Scott. You will not possess any weapons or firearms of any kind. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you, sir. Thank you. All right, your name, please, sir. What is your name, sir?
Martinez Smith.
Okay. Ms. Smith, you were arrested on a charge of domestic battery by strangulation and battery. Your bond was set at 0. And again, it appears that Mr. Smith has no prior convictions. It's prior domestic assault out of state, which is listed as an arrest. Prior battery arrest. All right. Mr. Smith, I'm going to set bond on the domestic battery by strangulation in the amount of $1,000. The battery will be set at $100. The bonds will be conditioned upon supervision by pretrial release. If you do post bond, it will be a condition that you not have any contact directly or indirectly with Nicole Vega pending further order of the court. let's see. All right, it'll be a condition that you not return to the residence at 1717 Grand Point Boulevard in Orlando. You may do so one time accompanied by a law enforcement officer to pick up clothing or personal possessions. The public defender's office is appointed to represent you, sir. Thank you. Your name, sir?
Henry Williams.
All right, Mr. Williams, you were arrested on a charge of battery. Your bond was set at 0. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $500. It'll be conditioned upon supervision by pretrial release. It'll be a condition that you not have contact with Sierra Winston pending further order of the court, and that you not return to the residence occupied by Sierra Winston. You may do so on one occasion accompanied by a law enforcement officer to pick up clothing or personal possessions that you may have at that address. The public defender's office is appointed to represent you. Mr. Williams, those conditions can be modified by the court. And if you want a modification to allow contact and allow return
Yes, sir.
to residence, talk to your lawyer. You will just have to find another place to stay on a temporary basis.
I have somewhere to stay, sir.
Okay. Very frequently, those conditions are modified as the court gets a little more information about the case. But make sure you don't violate that even if she wishes to have contact with you. Because even if she invites the contact, if it happens before that order is modified, it'll cause you a lot of headaches. You could sit in jail.
Yes, sir.
Okay? All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
All right, your name, please?
Wesley Stephen Brantley.
All right, Mr. Brantley, you were arrested on a charge of battery. Your bond was set at 0. And, okay, Mr. Brantley, I'm going to set bond in your case in the amount of $500. It'll be conditioned upon supervision by pretrial release. If you do post bond, you will not have contact directly or indirectly with Emily Brantley. You will not return to the residence at 1232 Water Iris Way. I'm sorry. You will not return to the residence at 526 Meadowvale Drive. You may do so on one occasion accompanied by a law enforcement officer to pick up clothing or personal possessions you have at that address. The public defender's office is appointed to represent you. 500 plus feet. Yes.
Can I make one statement, please?
Yes, sir.
The resident at 526 Meadowville Drive is my parents' house, and that's currently where I am living. Emily Brantley is living at her parents' house.
Okay, well, if pretrial, I'll order you not go to within 1,000 feet of the residence where she is residing. If she's
Okay.
not residing at your parents' house, that's fine. You can return there.
All right, thank you.
All right, and folks, we're going to take about a 5-minute restroom break at this time, so we'll be at ease. There, you need a key. Okay, I think we're ready to proceed. Let's see. Okay, please tell us your name.
Melanie Deloney.
All right, Ms. Deloney, you were arrested on a charge of battery. Your bond was set at 0. The pretrial release information indicates no prior convictions. Actually, I'll take that back. Last conviction was 1998.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the alleged victim wants to have contact with Ms. Deloney. Is that- All right, Ms. Deloney, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $100. It will be conditioned upon supervision by pretrial release. I'm going to order that you have no hostile contact with Emma Williams. Means no pushing, no shoving, no fighting of any kind. The public defender's office is appointed to represent you. Thank you.
This is, thank you.
State your name, please.
Chance Dominique Frisch.
All right. Ms. Frisch, we have a witness here. While that witness is coming forward, you have been arrested on a charge of battery. Your bond is present set at 0. Sir, if you'll raise your right hand, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
State your name, sir.
Nicholas Wolf.
All right, Mr. Wolf, if you get a little closer to the microphone. You are listed as a victim in this case, and I have a couple of questions. Do you want to have contact with Ms. Frisch while this case is pending?
Yes, I do.
Are you afraid of her at all?
No, I'm not.
Do the two of you live together?
No.
Okay. All right. Any questions from either side?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Frisch, I'll set bond in the amount of $100. It will be conditioned upon supervision by pretrial release and further conditioned upon you not having any hostile contact with Nicholas Wolf. The public defender's office is appointed to represent you. So if you get in any kind of argument or dispute, you just need to walk away. Okay?
Yes, sir. Does
Just
that
while-
mean the
just while
no
this case is
contact?
pending.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Your Honor. You can continue.
Yes.
Does that
That's
mean
all
that?
right.
Okay, does the no contact order, is that still being upheld, or do I still need to go get this undone on my own on a later date?
Is there another no contact order or previous?
No, I was served one
Okay.
today, so I'm just asking if that is still in effect or if,
Was she just asked to review the no contact order as a prospective order?
Yeah, just in
Okay.
case you say no contact.
Yes, I'm not ordering no contact. I'm ordering no hostile contact.
okay, thank you so much, Your
So
Honor.
at least as to this case, the only restriction is no fighting,
Yes,
no aggressive contact.
okay,
All
thank
right.
you so much.
Thank you. All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Right here on the microphone.
All right, state your name, sir.
Hi, sir.
Yes,
Seth.
what is your name?
Seth Lipka.
All right, Mr. Lipka, you arrested on a charge of battery. Your bond is present set 0. We do seem to have a witness here, so ma'am, if you'll raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and what is your name?
Kelly Araujo.
Okay, you're very soft-spoken. I'll ask you to try to speak up, but you can put your hand down. So, I'm sorry, again, what is your name?
Kelly Juliana Olivio Araujo, but I go by Kelly Araujo.
Are you also known as Olivia Arroyo?
Correct.
Okay. Oh, I see. Kelly Juliana Olivia Arroyo Dobb, or date of birth. No, that's your date of birth. Okay. All right, Ms. Arroyo, are you wanting to have contact with Mr. Lipka at this time?
Yes, sir.
Are you afraid of him at all?
Not at all. No, sir.
If something were to happen in the future where he touched or struck you against your will, would you contact law enforcement?
I didn't understand your
If
question.
something happened in the future where he touched you or struck you against your will, would you contact law enforcement?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions from the state or defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right. All right. Mr. Lipka, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $100 with the condition upon supervision by pretrial release.
He does not qualify for pretrial release. Your Honor.
Okay. Oh, he does not.
He has an open case in Lee County.
What's the open case?
It's in Lee County, Your Honor. You don't have to rule on it. It's just a
Right.
legal constraint. It's a
No,
DUI.
it's a DUI, okay. All right, so it'll be a condition of your bond that you not have any hostile contact with Ms. Araujo. It'll also be a condition of your bond that you not possess or consume alcoholic beverages or controlled substance without a prescription. The public,
I'm sorry, Judge, so it's just straight $100?
yeah. So it's a $100 bond with those conditions. The public defender's office is appointed to represent you. Thank you.
Sir, can I ask one question?
Yes, sir.
Can Ms. Araujo bond me out? Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. What is your name, sir?
Ricardo Nieves.
All right, Mr. Nieves, you arrested on charges of battery and resisting an officer without violence. Your bond is set at 0 on the battery, $500 on the resisting charge. I'm going to set bond of $500 on the battery charge as well. It will be conditioned upon supervision by pretrial release. If you post bond, you will not have any contact directly or indirectly pending further order of the court with Evelyn Correa. You will not return to the residence at 3124 Graceland Court in Orlando. You may return one time accompanied by a law enforcement officer to pick up clothing or personal possessions you have there, but you'll have to find another place to stay on a temporary basis.
The 3124 is where I live, and where the argument happens where she lives. She lives in 2510 South Conway Road. That's my house. The 3124 Grayson Court. That's where I reside, and she resides
Okay,
in 20.
All right, so you had already been separated?
Yeah, we're already separated. I already have bought my
Okay.
own place, and we got back together, tried to work it out, and things didn't work
Okay.
out.
All right, you don't have to say anything more.
Yes, sir.
All right, then the restriction will just be that you not go within 1,000 feet of her residence.
Yes, sir.
You can return to your residence if she doesn't live there.
Yes, sir.
All right, the public defender's office is appointed to represent you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. The bond being as said is the other count. What is your name, please?
Tiffany Price.
Okay, good morning, Ms. Price. Ms. Price, you arrested on a charge of battery. Your bond was set at 0. Okay, and we don't have Mr. Rosario present. Ms. Price, I'm going to set bond in your case the amount of $500. You don't qualify for pretrial release supervision. So, do you have another place you can stay on a temporary basis? Do you have family or friends in the area?
Yeah. Yes.
How old is your child?
One is 4 months and the other one is 9 years old.
I'm sorry, one is 4 months and the other
And
is?
the other one is 9 years old.
Okay. I'm going to just order that you have no hostile contact with Emmanuel Rosario. I'm not going to restrict things further, but you can't afford to have another situation that gets out of hand, or you're going to wind up sitting in jail without bond until the case is resolved. So,
I understand that.
okay, very well. Thank you. Public Defender's Office is appointed. 500 straight bond, yeah. No hostile contact.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And if I don't mention it, I am appointed an officer of public defender to represent everybody that's coming in. All right, your name, sir?
Zachary Russ.
All right, Mr. Russ, you arrested on a charge of battery. Your bond was set at 0. I believe we have a witness here, so before we proceed further, we'll take information. And if you'll raise your right hand, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
State your name, please.
Michelle Russ.
Okay, Ms. Russ, you are named as the victim in this case. Let me ask a couple of questions. Do you want to have contact with Zachary Russ at this time?
Not at this time. I'd rather him go to drug rehab.
Fair enough. All right, thank you. All right. Mr. Russ, I'm going to set bond in your case in the amount of $500. That will be conditioned upon you not returning to the area of 428 Bison Circle in Apopka. You may go back one time, accompanied by a law enforcement officer, to pick up clothing or personal possessions you may have at that address, but you're going to have to find another place to stay on a temporary basis otherwise. I'm going to order that you not have contact until further order of the court with Ms. Russ, Michelle Russ. You will not possess any or possess or consume any alcoholic beverages or any controlled substance without a valid prescription. He's out on a notice to appear. Since it's a notice to appear, I'm not going to impose or take any action since this would be a violation. Mr. Russ, the conditions can change down the road. You can talk to your attorney about that if you want to try to get a modification, but until or unless the court orders that you are allowed to have contact or allowed to return, you can't do that even if Ms. Michelle Russ decides she wants to have contact with you. You understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, very well. Thank you.
Okay, so
So-
are you recommending him to
I'm
go
sorry?
to, are you recommending him to go to a rehab?
I can't do that at this point. Right now, he's not been found guilty of anything. He's just accused of a crime. You can talk to the state attorney's office. They have victim advocates who can help explain to you what your rights would be. On down the road, if he is found guilty or if the case is resolved through a guilty plea, that could be part of the resolution, but I cannot order that at this time.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
No, he's not. He did not qualify for PPR.
There's no action on
All right, good morning, man. What is your name?
Felicia Valdez.
I'm sorry?
Felicia Valdez.
Okay. Ms. Valdez, you're arrested on charge of battery. Your bond was set at 0. We do have a witness here, so you'll please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
And what is your name, sir?
Eric Lopez.
I'm sorry, I couldn't.
Eric Lopez.
Okay. Mr. Lopez, you are listed as the victim in this case, and I don't know if you've heard the other cases, but I am interested in your input. Do you want to have contact with Ms. Felicia Valdez at this time?
Yes.
Are you afraid of her at all?
No.
Okay. If something were to happen in the future where she touched you or struck you against your will, would you contact law enforcement?
Yes.
All right. Fair enough. And I don't know if I had the paperwork on her. Does she qualify for pretrial release?
She did not, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Valdez, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $500. It will be conditioned upon you having no hostile contact with Mr. Eric Lopez. There's no fighting, no pushing, no shoving, punching, scratching. Yes, sir.
Yes, I already removed myself from premises.
I'm sorry?
I removed myself from the premise.
Okay, and that's fine too. And you don't have to have contact if you don't want to, but you can have contact if you wish to. All right, the Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you, Ms. Valdez. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Your name, please?
Kenyon Lenore Anderson.
Mr. Anderson, you're arrested for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon in open carrying of a weapon or firearm. Your bond is $4,000 on the possession by a convicted felon, $250 on the open carrying charge. It appears that you are out on bond in case 19 CT 7080. This offense would indicate a violation of the conditions of release in that case. So we'll revoke your bond in that case. You'll be held without bond pending further order of the court in that case. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you, sir.
Your Honor, as to the out on bond case, would the court consider setting a bond perhaps at a heightened amount? Given the nature of the COVID situation, I don't see any way for Mr. Anderson to get a trial anytime soon.
That's very possible, but I'm going to leave that to the court with that case. So it's going to be no bond at this time. Sorry, Mr. Anderson.
Understood.
Thank you. Your name, sir? Or, I'm sorry, your name?
Kenny August is medical, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. August is arrested on 5 counts. I will, I do find probable cause. I will reduce the bond on the possession of cocaine with intent to sell or deliver to $7,500. The other counts will remain as set. The Public Defender's Office is appointed.
And he did have 2 out on bond cases, Your Honor.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, they were added just before court.
Okay, I did not get those. If he
I-
was out on bond on any other cases, you'll announce the case numbers.
Yes, I will, Your Honor. The first is a 2019 CF 014829 AO. The second is a 2019 CF 014286 AO.
Okay, and based on this new arrest, I will revoke the bonds of both those cases, order he bail without bond. We can reset them. I don't know how they handle that.
Not sure, Your Honor. Just briefly, though, as to the new case, I wanted to challenge PC as to the cocaine with intent to sell, not challenging the other count of the cannabis. But as to the cocaine, it's just mentioned that there's cocaine in what's described as a crack cookie. There's no explanation of what that is, and I think just the mere presence of a razor blade is not enough to prove.
I agree that would not be enough. Let me take another look here. Yeah, State, Mr. Dew, did you have any argument?
No, not this time. The state will request 24 hours to see if there's any additional information from the officer.
I concur with Ms. Taylor. I think, it's Ms. Taylor, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, sorry. I agree with you. I think I'll find PC for possession of cocaine only as to that count. I'll leave the bond at $7,500 today, give the state 24 hours to attempt to produce additional probable cause. It's somewhat of a moot point given the other cases, but it can be readdressed tomorrow then.
So you didn't find PC for count one?
I found PC for possession of cocaine only.
Giving the state 24 hours?
Right. All right. Okay, and is this Ms. Barnes?
Nazar
Ms.
Brown
Barnes?
is in the hospital, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Barnes. Is in the, as to Nazar Barnes, the court does find probable cause based on the affidavit. I'll leave the bond $5,000 at this time. Appoint the public defender's office.
Can we set him for IA like within 24 hours of his return from the hospital? Is that possible?
I don't know how they handle that, but I mean, that would make sense rather than continuing to reset. We'll try it.
Okay.
Or he be brought back to initial appearance the next business day following his release, or within 24 hours of his release from the hospital.
You pointed to PD
Yes. Okay. Good afternoon. State your name, please.
Chanel de Graffenried?
Graffenried?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Graffenried, you were arrested on charges of possession of cocaine and possession of a controlled substance.
Yes.
Your bond totals $1,150.
Yes.
The public defender's office is appointed to represent you.
I don't have a public defender, but I would like one.
I just appointed one. You do have one.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Okay. That's all right. Thank you.
That's it?
That's it.
Hello, Your Honor.
Your name, please? Your name, sir?
Charles Dodd.
All right, Mr. Dodd, you're arrested for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, possession of ammunition by a convicted felon, possession of a concealed weapon by a convicted felon, carrying a firearm in a place prohibited by law, and attempted false impersonation of an officer. Your bond is...
I didn't impersonate. Not to correct you.
Ms.
You
Ms.
don't have
Dodd, let me stop you for just a minute. Your attorney was about to try to do that, I believe. Just let me clarify, we're not here to determine your guilt or innocence of these charges today. And it probably is not in your best interest to say anything about the facts of your case to anyone other than your lawyer, because if you do, it could be used against you if the case later goes to trial. Your bond is set at $5,000 on the possession of a concealed weapon by a convicted felon, $150 on possession of firearm by a convicted felon, and possession of ammunition by a convicted felon, and $100 for carrying a firearm in a place prohibited by law and attempt to falsely impersonate an officer. The court does find probable cause as to each of those counts. That doesn't mean that you're guilty. That just means based on the affidavit, I do find there is probable cause. You are presently out on bond in case 20 CF 4992. And based on this arrest, I find a violation of the conditions of your release in that case, and you'll be held without bond in that case pending further order of the court. The public defender's office is appointed to represent you in this case, sir.
And Judge, quickly, if I could, the out on bond case has not been filed on yet by the state. So based on that, I would just be requesting that the court consider setting a new bond on that case.
Well, what's the date of arrest in that case?
I didn't write down the
It was
date.
April 23rd, 2020, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Do any information on that case?
We are in the process of contacting the victim, I think.
I'm sorry?
We're in the process of contacting the victim. We
Okay,
just
well,
had.
that's been 3 months, so since it's been that long without information being filed, I'm not going to take any action on the attempted burglary case at this time. And you can file a motion to revoke bond if you wish. So your bond will remain the $5,000 plus the $500, I think a total of $5,500 on the new charges. I'm not taking action on your other bond at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, your name, sir?
Jerron Hall.
Okay, Mr. Hall, you have several charges. You arrested for possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver, possession of alprazolam with intent to sell or deliver, possession of cocaine with intent to sell or deliver with a weapon. The cannabis was also with a weapon. Possession of ecstasy, possession of a concealed firearm by a convicted felon, and principal to the sale or delivery of cannabis consideration. Your bond was set at no bond on the possession with intent to sell or deliver, $5,000 on the possession of concealed firearm by a convicted felon, $1,000 for principal to sale or delivery of cannabis, $150 to possession of alprazolam with intent to sell or deliver, and $150 on the possession of ecstasy. All right, well, I find that you are entitled to a bond on the no bond charges. So I'm going to set bond amount of $10,000 for the possession of cocaine with intent to sell or deliver with a weapon, and $5,000 on the possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver with a weapon. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you, sir. Thank you. The other bonds remain as such. All right, yes.
Your Honor, William Hargis is mental health.
Okay, Mr. Hargis was arrested for possession of cocaine and possession of drug paraphernalia. Bonds were set at $1,000 and $100 respectively. I'll leave those bonds as set. He is out on his recognizance. Is this a mental health ROR on the other case, or was it just state didn't file within?
It looked like a 33-day motion.
Okay. So as to case 19 CF 1560 based on this new arrest, I will revoke the ROR and order he be held without bond. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent Mr. Hargill.
His appearance.
And, are you waiving his appearance on the new case at this time?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. All right. Then, your name, sir?
Eddie Kimball, sir.
All right, Mr. Kimball, you're arrested on a charge of driving while license revoked as an habitual offender. Your bond is $2,500. Unfortunately, you're out on bond in case 20 CF 1176. Based on this new felony arrest, I find the violation of condition of the bond in that case, so you'll be, I'll revoke that bond, or you be held without bond pending further order of the court. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Could Madam Clerk give me that case number for the out on bond? It's not on my sheet.
2020 CF 4176AO.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Kimball. All right, your name, sir?
Mr. Dean Mack, sir.
Okay. Mr. Mack, you were arrested for possession of cocaine. You have a bond of $1,000. Unfortunately, you are out on bond in case 20 CF 2342 AO for the same charge, possession of cocaine. This arrest violates your bond in that case. Actually, he's out on pretrial release. It violates your pretrial release, which will be revoked. You'll be held without bond pending further order of the court in that case. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Thank you.
Your Honor, Dalton McCall refused.
I'm sorry?
Dalton
He's-
McCall
Yes.
refused.
All right, as to Dalton McCall, the court finds probable cause as possession of methamphetamine resisting without violence. Bonds in this case remain at $1,000 and $100 respectively. The Public Defender's Office is appointed. The court does revoke his ROR in case 19 CF 14419 and his bond in case 20 CF 3673 in order that he be held without bond on each of those two cases.
Defense has waived his appearance, Judge.
Well, he's waived his own appearance
Oh, he
by
waived his
refusing
own.
to appear, so.
okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And Madam Clerk, the PD needs to be appointed on 3673,
I will.
the out on bond.
I will appoint
Thanks.
Speedy. Your name, sir?
Good day. Michael Medina.
I'm sorry?
Oh,
Okay.
Michael Medina.
Yes, sir. All right, good afternoon, Mr. Medina. Mr. Medina, you were arrested for driving while license suspended with knowledge that your license was suspended. You have a bond of $500 on that charge. You're also arrested for possession of cocaine and possession of drug paraphernalia. Your bond on the cocaine charge is $1,000. It's $100 on the paraphernalia charge.
And he did qualify for pretrial release, Your Honor.
Okay. Looks like his last conviction was an open container back in February. Prior military service. All right, Mr. Medina, I'll release you on pretrial release in these cases. That, of course, is conditioned on you not possessing or consuming any controlled substance at all without a valid prescription. And I'm going to also add no alcoholic beverages. You'll be subject to testing to make sure that you comply with that. But the Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Just stay out of trouble. All right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, your name, please?
Laura Moore.
Ms. Moore, you're arrested for possession of cocaine, possession of fentanyl, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Your bond total is $2,500 on the new charges. You're out on pretrial release for possession of fentanyl in case 20 CF 4839. Your pretrial release is revoked. As to that charge, you'll be held without bond pending further order of the court. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Your name, please?
Napoleon Perryman.
Okay. Mr. Perryman, you're arrested for possession of cocaine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and possession of 20 grams or less of cannabis. Appears that she qualifies for pretrial release. So, Ms. Perryman, I will release you on pretrial release.
Thank
The
you.
Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. You will be subject to alcohol and drug testing, so it's a condition you not possess or consume alcohol or drugs without a prescription, so just make sure you are careful with that.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. That's it.
That's it. Your name, please, sir?
How you doing, Delvin Pryor?
I'm sorry, your name's Delvin Pryor?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Pryor.
How you doing?
Ms. Pryor, you're arrested for grand theft of a motor vehicle and resisting an officer without violence. You have a bond of $1,000 on the grand theft, $100 on the resisting, actually $500 on the resisting. You are out on bond in case 20 CF 889 for violation of pretrial release conditions on domestic violence case, criminal mischief, false imprisonment, and felony battery, as well as tampering with a witness to hinder communication to law enforcement. Your bond in that case is revoked. You'll be held without bond pending further order of court. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you.
And Your Honor, he also had an open notice to appear case. The case number is 2020 MM 003306 AO.
On the notice to appear, I don't know that it's really a condition that that's now been violated, so I'm going to leave. I will take no action on the NTA case.
What was it? What was the case number?
It's 2020 MM 003306 AO.
Judge, may I briefly interrupt before we move to the next person?
Yes.
For Laura Moore, the female
Yes.
that came previously, the court revoked her bond, but I did just check, and the state has not filed charges, and it's from April 21st. I missed that previously, so I just wanted to make the request to take no action.
Again, with it being that long, that's April, that's 3 months. I will reverse myself, and I will take no action on the out on bond case for Ms. Moore.
Thank you, Your Honor. Sorry
That was
about that.
pretrial release, Your Honor, so
Or-
you want her to just remain on pretrial
She'll
release?
remain on pretrial release, yes. All right, Mr. Rivera, is it? State your name, please.
Juwan Rivera?
I'm sorry.
Juwan Rivera?
State your name, please.
Speak up. No, leave it on or speak up.
Juwan Rivera?
All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Rivera.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Rivera, you were arrested on a warrant for failure to appear in case 19 CF 13341 on charge of burglary of a dwelling, grand theft, and criminal mischief. Your bond is set at 0 in that case. You were arrested for providing false identification to a law enforcement officer. You have a bond of $500 on that charge. And you're arrested for criminal mischief. You have a bond with damage of more than $1,000. You have a bond of $1,000 on that charge. I'm sorry, is that different?
I think it was just a fact I'm saying.
Okay.
Not just two cases.
Thank you. That's Ms. Sears. I take it back. So you have the failure to appear warrant, which is 0 bond, and the false identification arrest, which has a bond of $500. The public defender's office is appointed to represent you in both of your cases, sir. All right, thank you. Yes.
Your Honor, Pamela Sears refused.
Okay, well, as to Ms. Sears, she has a bond of $1,000. We'll note that she refused to appear. The court does find probable cause, and the bond remain as set. At this time, the public defender's office is appointed to represent her. All right, yes?
Christina Thomas, she refused
Yes.
as well.
Okay, Ms. Thomas was arrested on a warrant for failure to appear on a charge of aggravated assault in case 19 CF 6543. Her bond is set at 0. I'm going to leave her bond at 0. We'll appoint the public defender's office. We'll note that she refused to join us today.
Yes, Your Honor. It looks like Ms. Thomas was adjudicated incompetent, and it looks like this was a turn-in date to go to the state hospital. Could Madam Clerk maybe do the 24-hour tag to notify, I think it's Judge Roach, that she's been,
We don't notify the judge. I mean, I'll put it on here. It's
So you think that case was closed by, or it's
It was.
incompetent proceed, or
She had.
conditional release, or?
I'm sorry. She failed to appear on July the 10th.
Was this for a competency status hearing or something?
And it's a remanded modification for sentence. So they wanted her to be remanded. For
Yes, Your
modification of
Honor.
sentence, and I guess once.
Yes,
they
Mr.
wouldn't
Duke?
have-
I'm
Yeah, I
sorry.
do have the notes. She was supposed to appear on July 10th at the BRC so she could be put into placement, and she failed to do so. And then on July 10th, it was remanded because it was a failed to appear, and the defense had no contact with her.
I'm a little confused, but Ms. Taylor, your office has been appointed, so you can
sure.
contact you can contact Judge Roach's JA and set it for the status or whatever needs to be set for.
Sure.
Okay. Your name, please?
Alex Leonard Williams.
All right, Mr. Williams, you were arrested for trafficking in more than 10 grams of MDMA, possession of MDMA or ecstasy, possession of cocaine with intent to sell or deliver, possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver, possession of more than 20 grams of cannabis, possession of drug paraphernalia, Your bond is set at $100,000 on the trafficking charge, $150 on all the other charges except for the possession of drug paraphernalia is $100. The public defender's office is appointed to represent you. Thank you, sir. Okay, yes.
Robert Morris, he's medical, Your Honor.
Okay, before we get to that, what about Raldi Alsing?
Alcine bonded.
Okay, excellent.
Just case we just had with the you left the bond state.
Left the bonds as $100,000.
And then, okay. No special condition?
No.
Okay.
PD appointed. So Robert Morris, I'm sorry, was
Medical.
medical? Okay. Oh, Mr. Morris was arrested for no valid DL, no valid registration. His bonds are set at $500 as to each. He's out on bond on possession of drug paraphernalia based on these charges. I'm not going to take any action as to the paraphernalia case. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent him. And, no, this, do you want him reset or do you want to waive?
We can waive, Your Honor.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
No action on, I know bond say with.
Right.
You get one.
Yes. Okay. Good afternoon. Please tell us your name.
Aaron Demetrius Brown.
Okay, Ms. Brown, you arrested for resisting an officer without violence. You have a bond of $500. The public defender's office is appointed to represent you. It appears that you have some open cases in Seminole County, but of course not taking any action on those. So you have a bond of $500. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. All right. Do we have, what's,
Paul
Mr. Clark?
is mental
Yes.
health.
All right, Mr. Clark, was arrested for threatening a law enforcement officer or family. It's a bond of $500. And possession of open container alcohol is a bond of $250. Guess we'll leave those bonds as set at this time. Public defender's office is appointed to represent them. Did you wish to waive or have him brought back?
Judge, if I could just have a second. We can just waive, Your Honor.
Okay, so we'll note that I was waived. Thank you. Yes, do we have Ms. Ingram? What's your name, please?
Michelle Lee Ingram.
All right, Ms. Ingram, you're arrested on a charge of battery and petty theft. Your bond is $500 on the battery, $100 on the petty theft. The public defender's office is appointed to represent you in this case. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, your name, please?
Tiaji Mays.
Okay, Ms. Mays, you were arrested for petty theft. Your bond is $250 on that charge. You're also arrested for violation of probation. And you have zero bond on the violation of probation. The public defender's office is appointed to represent you in these cases. Now, the probation is from another county, but it can possibly be resolved while you're here in the Orange County Jail. You can talk to your attorney about that. What county is the VOP on from?
It's Palm Beach.
Palm Beach, okay.
Palm Beach County.
So while they're not transporting folks, you may be able to resolve the violation of probation while you're here. You can talk to your lawyer about that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Sorry? Okay. Your name, please?
Johnny Sizemore.
Mr. Sizemore, you're arrested on a charge of battery. Your bond is set at $500. The public defender's office is appointed to represent you, sir. Thank you. All right, and what is your name? What is your name, please?
What is your name?
Okay, do you know what your name is? Are you willing to share that with us?
Who?
Okay, well, ma'am, you've been arrested for being in the park after hours and failure to identify yourself in violation of city ordinance. Your bond is set at $250 on each count. Has she been identified at all?
Yes, Your Honor, she's,
Oh, she's
Right.
Angela Billingsley?
yes.
Okay. Is that your name, ma'am? Okay. It sounds like there may be some mental health aspect to this.
Yes, Your Honor.
At this point, I don't think I can really do anything other than leave the bond as set right now. Point to PD's office.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm looking at the history. Would the court be inclined to do mental health pretrial release? If she qualifies?
I would if she qualified, but
You can do bond or mental health pretrial release if they qualify.
Okay.
We don't do that, mental health does, so.
okay.
They'll have to
that's fine.
evaluate
So,
the screening.
the bond will remain at $250 per count or mental health pretrial release if she qualifies. That would seem appropriate. All right, thank you, ma'am. I believe that's all we have.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Have a great afternoon.
You're very welcome.
I don't know how I think I broke this. It just went off. It's been off for a while. It's working. It's turned on. Don't get me in trouble now. Yeah, it went off a while ago.
Hussein. Hussein,
Yes,
bring the sheets over so they can get signed before he leaves.
yeah.
And the no contact orders, just for you.
Okay.
You ready?
So the others. No, it's not unplugged, and I didn't want to rip it out of there, so.
Oh,
Thank you.
Are we going to do the PC challenges from yesterday? Or the PC challenges from yesterday?
thought we set one for today.
Kind of bonded out.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, Collins got out.
And-
Is there another one?
Yeah, there
Goes
is
up. No.
barrels. Oh, no, not the barrels. Torres Ismail. Torres Ismail.
What's the, how you spell the last name?
Torres.
Oh, the first name?
Ismael.
He's still, yeah, he probably didn't make it on to, I don't know. Can you check when y'all reset him for? Cause he wasn't on the docket. Ishmael told me to see when
Do you
he.
have to hear what updates?
Yeah, it's the
Or I see
same.
it.
Yeah,
I don't even remember what
it was the defendants, the 65 or older.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's that child abuse one too.
Yes. And yeah, Nunez for the child.
What was it?
I don't think they reset him for any day.
Yeah, we, know how.
Can I see that one too?
I haven't really
I think
been
he got
looking at the other
reset for anything.
names, I'm just signing these, so
Okay.
we'll toss any that,
If it's, okay.
Yeah,
The other
I
one we
don't see
should
him there.
have is George, definitely George Bryant George, because he wasn't there, but you did send him her name.
Zachary Ross, I said
It would be correction. I wasn't here yesterday, so correction would be the one that should have put him on the list. So
I don't do that, that's downstairs.
Downstairs, yeah, because I mean,
So probably since Aaron wasn't here, they didn't get put on the list.
well, I mean, they listed, and if we put it on our IA order to reset, let me see, what's one of the case numbers so I can look at?
I'll see if it was on the order.
Yeah, to reset for PC, then
What's the last name again?
it wouldn't have been,
Yeah, I got it. I got it.
Oh, no, man, I don't know that.
Thank you, Adam, for
Judge Long.
yeah, he is, so they're gonna have to
Huh?
make sure they come tomorrow. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wasn't in the courtroom yesterday, so I know I got a couple of them to reset. No, one to reset for us. Right? That was the one he found proper cause for just cocaine, possession of cocaine. And he's supposed to be reset if he don't bond out.
Yeah, there's nothing on the order to reset Torres, so that's why he wasn't reset.
For PC purposes. Oh, well, I wasn't in here. Oh,
And
wow.
who's the other one?
Chris appearance.
What's his first name? I'm not even here. Do you have a booking number for her? Or jail number? She's not here anymore. She must have bonded out or gotten out. Yeah, she's not here anymore.
I would just say Morris.
I don't have anything to do with that.
Let me see.
All the-
What's the case number? You might have to.
Clerks or
What's the case number?
20,
yeah, 8611. No, she didn't have reset on that one either, so you gonna have to. Oh man. I guess I got. I mean, I can't schedule it. I mean, downstairs has to schedule it. You got to, they have to listen to records and stuff. I mean, I can't, you know what I'm saying? We don't schedule it. Downstairs do. So you're gonna have to contact, I guess, our supervisor, let her know that it was missing, or contact pre-trial downstairs.
It's not pretrial, it's court
Right,
team.
not pre-trial, but,
Court team.
was it, inmate record?
Yeah,
That
it's
he
court team.
14, that he should have been rescheduled for Sunday, but it wasn't on the court minutes. And then they will have to go from there, cause,
I don't mind doing it, I just don't know who to
huh?
email. I don't mind setting it up, I just don't know who to email.
Court team, is it called, was it court team? To reset it, I mean, well, I guess she should have put it on the IA order.
Maybe we could just address it real quick now.
Let me see, no, we can't. You're killing me here, you know that, right? Jesus. Let me see, cause he was already,
It was one of the cases where TA wasn't in the affidavit.
Oh, yeah.
I got the printer, let me see.
Is that the child abuse allegation?
And what was the other case number?
That and battery.
What's the other case number?
So the other case number is 2020.
What's the inmate number? Yeah, it should be on that 200159.
What's
Yeah.
the name so she could pull up this?
2015 15815.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
It showed he bonded. I heard a bond showing that he bonded on that case. The child support.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then,
Or if it's still in jail, then we should return it.
is Torres still in jail, you guys?
Yeah, they're still in jail.
So I need to do an IA order for this one.
The 65-year. That just made a difference between a felony bond or a misdemeanor bond.
Yeah, he said he filed a new affidavit. The officer I spoke with him.
So he said he did file?
Yeah.
Is it, can we see it in the court file? Or
No, I don't see it, but he emailed me the statement that he wrote.
is it sworn?
No, it's just the email. I mean, it's just like you can just the statement that whatever it is.
Oh.
Yeah,
Just
so
quote
I
it
don't.
in the email.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I wanted to ask for. That's the first time someone did that, but
Yeah.
so I wasn't sure that's what happened.
Yeah.
But
Not Selena, it's not Selena, it's the court team, it's the court team, so. Since the judge is here, and you want us to call it back on record and waive his appearance, we can do that, so, but I just gotta type out another IA order, I'm trying to type it out, what it was yesterday, bond stayed, waive his appearance, reset defendant. So you're gonna do it as I have to do it as a corrected court minutes. Judge, you remember this one, right? You remember this one?
Yeah, more or less. This was battery on the
The-
65.
yeah, the battery on the 65,
older,
yes.
this thing. So what was the bond on the battery on the?
It was one, you reduced it to $100,
No,
so you didn't, I don't think you,
if I reduced it to $100, it's not.
just because, right.
Either way, it's
yeah, so,
$100.
Right, it's. even if
Well,
it's
if there's no PC, it'd have to be ROR, but Steve, do you have any additional?
no, I spoke with.
There'd still
Yeah.
be PC for the battery though.
Right, I think that's why you
Yeah.
reduced it to
Yeah.
100.
Okay, so either way, but still.
It'd still be $100.
Okay.
So we don't need to,
I'm not gonna,
we don't have to
I'm not
reduce.
gonna make you do it.
I mean, I was working on it, it was taking a minute, but,
It's okay.
but it was
only
reduced.
over the, you know, the money in case you couldn't afford it.
But it was reduced to 100.
I'll just withdraw.
Okay.
All right, thank you, everybody. Sorry for the confusion.
That's it. That was everything, yeah.
Your Honor, you too. Have a good one.
I don't know what's going on. The screen went black. You can't can't get it to come up. I'm gonna have to go in the office and scan these. Okay, so I'm resending this one. This one right here. He was out on 2 cases. And he revoked those 2 cases. And what's her name was killing me. Can we go back to this one? Girl, you girl?
Girl, you already know I was like, oh, my goodness.
You.
You gonna sit down.
Can we go back to this case? I'm like, what?
That's the stuff you should look up before court starts.
Before court even started. Yeah, so did you reset this? No, I wasn't in the court. I can't just
Yeah, no,
And it should have been, but the thing was.
it wasn't on the court order though,
I
that's the
know, but
thing,
what
that's
was
why they
going on
didn't.
yesterday, he'll say, well, because he
Right.
wanted to waive the appearances, but of course Marie wanna reset every single thing that she can. And then, like, he'll go back and change it later, so you don't really know if,
I
it
know.
probably was reset.
I know what I meant to ask you, Megan.
Yes,
That-
ma'am.
That one that had he was FTA on the same case he was out on bond. Stewart.
That was an error, that was an entry error.
Okay,
That-
so I can just take that out.
Yeah, that
Okay.
should have never been in there because he was already in on that case. I don't have no idea why they put that in
Okay,
there.
okay, I didn't want to throw it away until.
No, you're all good, Sharon.
Okay.
I don't know why the heck they did that.
Cause I was like, that don't make no sense. I said,
Yeah,
you
he's
know what?
already, and I was going through it. I'm like, guys, come on. Why did we do that? He's already in on it. But, you know, it happened.
Yes, okay.
Sharon,
Yeah,
you on open mic, hon?
it's, went black. I don't know how to, mute it. Let me try muting over here.